What is the updated cost of housing in Salem, Oregon? That is what we're going to be talking about today. It's a big question I get asked all the time as a real estate agent. Everyone wants to know, what's the real estate market doing? What are home prices at? What's rent at? And that is what we're going to share today. But first, if you're new here, welcome. My name's Mariah, and my husband Spencer and I have a top producing real estate team here in Oregon, and we get calls, texts, and emails from people like you that are watching our YouTube videos and are thinking about relocating to the area all the time. If that's you, feel free to reach out. We would love to work with you as well. I will put our contact information in the description below. Let's start off with the median list price in Salem, Oregon specifically. The median list price in Salem, Oregon as a whole was $470,000 in October 2023 compared to $420,000 the year before. So as you can see, home prices have gone up over the past year, although we have seen a lot of changes in the housing market here. We are seeing higher days on market for sure, which is actually a really good thing if you want to buy a house, because in previous markets when interest rates were record low, buyers truly didn't have time to sleep on the decision. A lot of times they didn't even have time to go see the house before they had to make an offer on it. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's just how competitive the market was when interest rates were so low. But now with interest rates being a little bit higher and homes just not being quite as competitive as before, although homes have gone up in value and they are actually predicted to continue to go up in value over this next year, just not, the crazy amount that they did in previous years, like 20%, they're expected to go up more like 3%, which is much more healthy. So although they are, expected to appreciate still in our area over this next year, over 2024, we are seeing a little bit longer days on market. And that is such a blessing for our buyers that are looking right now. They actually have time to go look at a house and to sleep on it before making a decision. We are also seeing a lot more buyers getting their closing costs paid for. Back in 2020, 2021, back when things were just so crazy competitive because interest rates were record low, we did not see sellers paying for buyers' closing costs really ever for a very long time. It was very hard to even get an offer accepted with a contingency, which is another thing that we're seeing a lot of right now. And I'm really grateful for it, because a lot of our buyers are people who are moving to Oregon from all over many different states across the US and even sometimes out of the country, and they have a home to sell where they're at. If you're gonna wait to buy until interest rates are record low again, it's gonna be a lot harder to get an offer accepted when you have that contingency, if that makes sense. When it's the offer you're on, the house you're making an offer on is contingent on your home selling where you're at. So that's another blessing about this housing market for buyers, is you are able to sell your house and buy your house here, and it's just going so much smoother for buyers in that case. Another positive thing about this housing market right now for buyers is loan programs. So back in, again, 2020, 2021, even some of 2022, when interest rates were super, super low and everybody was out there buying, it was really, really difficult to get an offer accepted on a home, especially as a first-time buyer in that price range. If you had a USDA loan, meaning putting $0 down, or even an FHA loan, putting like 3% down, first-time buyer loan, if you didn't have a conventional loan and you weren't putting 20% down, it was just really hard to get your offer accepted. Well, that's another benefit to this housing market right now. Another thing that our buyers are loving and we're loving for them is the fact that if you have a $0 down or even just a low amount of money down loan program, you are able to get an offer accepted. It is not like, some pricing ranges are still competitive in some areas, but it's definitely not that crazy competitive to where your offer's not gonna get accepted if you're not putting 20% down. On average, homes in Salem sell after 46 days on market right now. What are some of the affordable housing opportunities in Salem? We have two new housing developments, both in Northeast Salem, that come to mind. And they are both, you're gonna see homes starting at around $400,000. Brand new, great, clean, nice communities. And that's definitely for our area. There's no other area or side of town where you could find a new home that cheap. So what is the average rent right now? That is gonna be just over $1,100 a month. That average rent is gonna be for a 600 square foot apartment or so. And that is a $21 increase in rent from the previous year. The average rent for a house, if you're going to rent a actual home, especially if it has a garage, you are going to be paying much more than that. So your next question might be, what do I need to do to get started? What's the first step? I want to buy a house. What do I need to do next? Or I'm just curious to see if I can buy a house right now. Well, how do I get started? So first of all, reach out. I would love to chat with you and get all of your home buying questions answered, walk you through the process. I will put my contact information below. The next step is we will send you to a solid lender who will be able to give you an estimate of about how much you'll need to save to buy a house, what price range you might be looking in, and what to expect for your monthly payment at certain price points with the interest rates and all of that. So all the numbers, if that's you, don't hesitate to reach out. I'd love to chat with you and get a phone call or a Zoom call set up. And I'll see you guys next time.